Well, hey there, my drumming friend. Or I hope you're a drummer. You may not be a drummer, but if you're listening to this, I assume you're at least somewhat interested in drumming. So welcome in. This is Drummer Daily. My name's Daniel. I'm so happy you could join me again. This is episode number 203, which is interesting because episode number 200 kind of came and went without me even really making much of a deal about it, which is fine. We'll celebrate down the road. It's like we'll have a belated birthday party someday for it. But I hope you're doing well. I'm in the middle of getting ready to, I'm preparing to teach a couple of free classes that I do from time to time online as I record this. And the topics change sometimes, but the class I'm getting ready to teach right now is all about how to become a professional drummer by following a simple, proven path. And just for the record, this is not what this podcast episode is about today. But just because something is simple doesn't mean that it's easy, or that it's simplistic, or that it's a get rich quick type thing. It's not that. Simple just means it's easy to understand. And is easy to follow from a perspective of understanding. Doesn't mean it doesn't require a lot of effort and time and discipline and patience. It just means that if you do you follow the path, you get the result. So anyway, I'm teaching that class right now, and I do it from time to time. So if you're interested in that, I'd love for you to join me. Like I said, I don't teach these classes all of the time. So the best way to find out if I'm doing a class coming up anytime soon is just to go to danielhadaway.com/class. And the page there will always have the most up-to-date information about not only the topic that we'll be talking about in whatever upcoming class I have, but also if you click the Save My Spot button on that page, a window will pop up that will give you the dates and times that I will be teaching that class coming up here soon. So you'll kind of always be able to keep tabs on if there's anything available coming up with that. But today I want to talk about learning on the drums, and I want to talk about it from a little bit different of a perspective. So of course I talk a lot about mindset and conceptual things you can do on the drums, and even recently I posted, I think, episode number 201. If you go to danielhadaway.com/201, you can find this. It was a video that I actually posted here to the podcast. It's kind of an instructional video about how to kind of change your mindset and how you think about phrasing on the drums to give your drums more feeling. But today I want to talk to you about learning, and not learning from me actually, but learning from others. And if you've stuck around me long enough, you either have heard me say it directly, or you probably have gathered that I'm not a huge connoisseur of the drum clinic style performance videos. What do I mean? I mean like the ones where a guy will be, a lot of times a famous drummer will be sitting there and explaining something on the drums that's really complicated and hard to understand. And then they'll say, let me play it for you slow, and then I'll speed it up. And they play it for you slow, and then my pet peeve is when they speed it up, and a lot of times they change it. If you actually pay attention to what they're doing, they're not even doing what they showed you when they were playing it slow. But anyway, I just don't get any educational value out of most drum clinics really, and I don't get much value a lot of times out of that style of video where you watch a quote unquote clinician just playing some crazy track that alternates between 7/8 and 3/5 or 3/9. I don't even know if that's a real time signature, but I don't get a lot out of those, and it's frustrating to me because I really do approach a lot of those situations like when I find those videos, I do want to learn something from them. And I just can't find it. Now, that's not to say that I'm not entertained by it. I don't enjoy watching them sometimes, but it's just not, it's not an educational experience for me. And if you're like me and you feel that way, I want to give you a tip today about watching those and finding something in there that will work for you. And it's kind of like the last episode 202, where we talked about watching a drummer maybe that is teaching something that's way below your skill level, as far as what they're teaching is something that you've pretty much already got locked down. I want to go the opposite direction today and talk about, what do you do in situations where you're watching something that seems really complicated and seems performance focused, and try to find something in that'll work. And that really is my tip. It's this: if you're watching something and it's for entertainment value, then of course all bets are off. You don't have to apply any kind of effort or technique to it. You can just enjoy it for what it is and not try to understand it. Just take it in and enjoy it for what it is. But if you're like me and you're constantly looking for new things that you'd like to learn, then what I would suggest is, this is what I do. When I'm watching something really complicated, I plug in my brain and I watch, and if it's a rhythmic thing that I'm not able to really engage with because it's just too complicated or too fast or too busy, maybe it doesn't seem musical, whatever it is, I don't even go down that road. I don't say, all right, I'm not going to try to pull some kind of lick out of this that I want to play, because especially in the world that I live in the world that I play drums in, that stuff, I'm never going to be able to use that stuff anyway, even if I could play it. But what I do look for then in those situations is how is he or she, I guess the drummer, how are they holding the sticks? How are they striking the drum? Is there a really cool accent, a certain part of the accent of the pattern that they are throwing in that I never would have thought to add in? And so basically what I'm doing is, even in really complex situations, I'm looking at it and saying, what is something simple that I can take away and use? The baseline is, what is something A that I understand that I'm seeing? And then B, what is, out of all the things that I understand that I'm seeing, B, what is something that I can actually use out of all those things that I actually understand? And what I found is that this pretty much works watching any drummer, no matter how complicated they are. And you might be much more technically inclined than I am, and you don't have a hard time understanding what you're seeing a lot. But for me, a lot of times, I'm not able to engage with some of that stuff. Whether it's a musical reason or it's a stylistic reason, it's just where I'm at. So I want to encourage you today. This is a shorter episode or a shorter piece of content, I know, today, but I just want to encourage you to go find something really complicated. Find one of those crazy drummers that's famous for doing really crazy, complicated stuff on the drums, and then look for things within that you quickly and easily understand what they're doing. And it might just be like just their foot. It might not be the whole pattern or whatever it is. Find something you understand and then kind of make a mental list of all the things you're perceiving that you understand. And then say, okay, out of this mental list, what is one or maybe even two things that I'm getting here that I can incorporate into my own playing, regardless of the style? Because a lot of times the style is going to be different than what we want. So do that. And let me know what you think. If you've tried this, and also if you tried what we talked about in episode 202, where you went and watched a really simple lesson on the drums, and you said, I'm still going to learn something new from this, even though I already kind of got this. If you've tried either of those, I'd love to hear what your experience was with that. So send me an email and let me know how it worked out for you at daniel@danielhadaway.com. I'd love to hear from you. And also, if you've got an idea for a topic on the show, send me an email there as well, or you can just go to danielhadaway.com, click on the contact button, and reach out to me there and let me know. And I will be happy to do my best to work it into an episode of the podcast. And also, just as a reminder, if you're interested in any of my classes that I teach throughout the year, you can just check out what class is coming up for you whenever you're hearing this by going to danielhadaway.com/class. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll be back again in a couple of days with another episode of Drummer Daily. Bye for now.